Hello, hello.
So you should share your.
Okay, where?
Okay, just talk on it. So, what's up?
Okay, I am excited about this.
Okay, good.
All right, so it's my first time of doing this in my kitchen. Yeah, I decided to talk to women from my kitchen because looks like this is one of our favorite spots in the house, right? And then it's giving off mommy things. Right? So if you're a mommy, just know that you're in the right place once you click on this one, and we can go right in together tonight. And just in case you're watching it later, well, I'll be expecting to read your responses. I'll be expecting to read from you. Let me know how this blessed you, right? So it's International Women's Day, and I just want to take this time to celebrate every woman everywhere, all the women everywhere, making efforts. Yay! All the women everywhere making efforts, both single and married, to be who God wants them to be. So, like I said, in case you're wondering, so what's she doing in her kitchen? Yes, it's one of my favorite spots. I love my kitchen, right? I'm sure you can tell it's beautiful. So, I love my kitchen. It's one of those places where I get to birth ideas, right? That's one of the reasons I love to do my dishes myself. Okay. Yay, thank you. So I love doing my dishes, okay, because it gives me the opportunity to actually think, right? It gives me the opportunity to, it's my me time. It gives me the opportunity to have my me time, right? To just think, to just sing, sometimes listen to messages, sometimes listen to music. I mean, it's just a really nice place to be, right? So I don't know if you would like to sit in your kitchen and watch me too from there. But anyhow, I'm saying happy International Women's Day to all of you out there. I celebrate you. You're phenomenal. And you know what? You're so special. Thank you for all that you do. I remember myself growing up. Uh, I'm the last of four girls. So imagine that growing up, I didn't have too much to do because all the girls that were ahead of me are taking up all the roles. So when I got into my pre-teenage years, or I would say maybe pre-teenage years, thank you, thank you, Adelola, I can see you. So when I got into my teenage years, well, gradually I had no choice. I had to start getting into the house sure things, like sweep the house, clean the house, and all of that. So everywhere was now cleaned out, as in like when all my siblings now had to leave. If you're last born, I'm sure you understand what I'm talking about right now. When all my siblings had left the house, uni, and all of that, so it's now me at home. I had to deal with it. So I didn't have a choice. I had to grow up very fast. You see, I didn't know how to cook, but at that point, I had to learn to cook very fast because at some point, my mom had to travel to do omugo for my. Thank you. Happy International Women's Day. I love you, Flaky. All right. So I had to travel. I hope I won't spend all this time greeting people tonight. Okay. So so I had to spend all of that time improving myself, developing myself because it was just me and my dad. My mom had to travel to do omugo. She went to the UK to take care of the new baby, my nephew at the time. So she was away for almost 1 year. So I had to grow up pretty fast, to take care of my dad. And it was a good one for me. It was a good one for me. I think I really needed to do that. I needed to be in that space, to be independent, to mature. Now I think I have an idea of what happened to Joseph. I think Joseph was a sports boy, right? So I think I could pass for that sports girl too, who was last born, didn't really know how to do stuff. But then all of a sudden it became clear that I had to take on that role, okay, and that responsibility of suddenly being a mature woman who had to take care of her dad, because like I said, it was just the two of us at home. Okay, so I grew into that woman all of a sudden, and I'm grateful, forever grateful for that privilege at that season of my life, that I had to grow up fast. I had to learn to cook. I remember the first day I had to make amala. I had to ask a friend to teach me how to make the amala. Jumoke Shekoni, now Adigun. I'll never forget that, ever. So Jumoke taught me how to make amala. All right. Jumoke is the typical Ibadan girl. So, like, you make amala and you put the pot on the floor and you're like, "Paka, paka, paka, paka." Yeah. So, you know why I had to be in the kitchen tonight. Anyways, so that's how I grew up. And then, so imagine by the time I went into the uni again, for a long time, my mom was also not around, visiting one child or the other. And then, so it had to be me and daddy again. So so already I understood what it meant to have like a wifely role, if I could put it that way. I was already playing a wifely role, even though I was in school at the time. So I was in University of Ibadan, and then I would quickly, come home for the weekend, make stew for my dad, put it in the freezer, and then I'm back, to school and all of that. So I did all of those things, and it was in the midst of all of that I met my husband. Actually, he will confess to me later that one of the reasons he married me was he liked the way I always took care of my dad. And he was like, "Hey, guy, you are blessed too. If this woman is taking care of her father like this, he will take care of you, she will take care of you." And he's right. Because yes, I have taken care of him to the glory of God for almost 21 years now. Amen. All right. So, so I'm just spending all of that time to celebrate every woman who was like me or who is currently like me, right? You're a teenage girl, and yet you're already having to take care of your younger siblings, taking care of your dad, maybe like I did, taking care of members of your family, and maybe you're in the uni, you're already having to work, support yourself, doing this side jobs, side hustles, like we call it, and all that we do. That is amazing. And I want you to know that we are all proud of you. We are all proud of you. Thank you for doing noble things. Thank you for not misbehaving, and for not taking up the excuses, of not having enough money or enough resources to be everything you want to be, and messing around. Thank you for being virtuous. Thank you for your hard work. There's some people who actually had to send themselves to school. They had to go through school, by themselves, had to, take care of their own accommodation. You're single and you're doing all of these things. I celebrate you. You're doing amazingly well. And I need you to know that the sky is the limit for you. Just keep looking up, just keep moving, just keep doing the things that you're doing. And I know that one of these days you get the chance, to tell your story and be and truly make a difference like you want to. Okay, so what's the topic? And I know that I want to talk about today. I'm sure you saw it. Do it now, right? I'm an execution coach. My name is Tolu Aladesomi. It took me this long to introduce myself, but anyway, my name is Tolu Aladesomi, and I'm an execution coach, and I'm a public health specialist. I also am a pastor by the grace of God, and I'm excited about mothers, about babies. Actually, I'm a maternal and child health advocate. All right. I love to talk about babies, love to talk about mothers, pregnant women, and all of that. I also love to talk about women who are pregnant with their own God-given dreams and ideas. And I'm here tonight for you because I sense that you really need to do those things that God has put in your heart. For the International Women's Day this year, it's accelerate action, right? Accelerate action. I read through, what that meant for 2025, and I discovered that what was being said primarily is to say that for a long time we've wanted to accelerate action with regards to women inclusion, with regards to getting women empowered, and getting women to do and to be everything that they've always wanted to be and they've always wanted to do, and that for some reason, because of certain barriers, we have not been able to achieve it. In fact, I read in an article, somebody made a joke that if we're not careful, we're still going to be at this same pace or this same place in the next 100 years. God forbid, right? Yeah. So this person was just simply saying that's the reason why we actually need to accelerate action and begin to look more into ways, of getting women to do the things that they've always wanted to do. How do we take off the barrier? How do we take off the limit? And for me, I feel like one of those ways is through women empowerment, which, I would say education is one of it. There are a whole lot of it, but I know that once you educate a woman, I tell you, you have educated a whole community. Now, look at the number of women we have in our society today who are not educated. Look at the problem of childhood marriages or child marriages, like we call them. Look at the problem of violence, all right? Look at the problem of financial issues or financial insufficiencies, or women who are not able to sustain themselves just because they're not empowered, just because they're not educated, just because there's that barrier, there's that leap, they were not able to further their education, so that also affects them in their places of work and all of that. Now, that's what this accelerated action is about. But I feel like a lot of people have also decided to look at it as a way to encourage women to accelerate action with regards to what they're trying to do. So, what exactly have you been trying to do with your life? What dreams do you have in your heart? What ideas have you, thought about in recent times? And for some reason, you've not been able to carry them out. I'm here this night, I'm here this evening, or I don't know what time it is with you where you're watching from, but to just encourage you and to let you know that you can actually get going right now. Don't wait for tomorrow. Let it be right now, like right now, this moment, this very moment, and you can start writing now the things that you want to do and planning them out, because this is the time to do it. Do it now. Do it now. Tomorrow is too late. Do it now. Tomorrow you're one day older, all right? Tomorrow you're everything, but just make sure you're doing it right now. Now, I want to look very quickly at the enemies of execution. So, if I'm asking you to do it now, there's certain reasons why people are not able to carry out their goals, certain reasons why people are not able to carry out those ideas, their dreams, and the things that they've always wanted to do. I realize that so there are different groups of people. There are people who have dreams, or who have a sense of assignment. They know what they want to do. And then there's another category of people who don't even know what they want to do with themselves. You'd be amazed. Sometimes you sit with certain people and they're like, you know what? Honestly, I don't even know what I want to do. Yeah. So there are people like that. However, tonight is not for you. Some other time I'll come address that situation. But right now, I'm talking to somebody who's been here daydreaming. You've been thinking about the things that you've wanted to do. You've been thinking about, the assignments, that God has given to you. They are desires, personal desires. But for some reason, you're not carrying those things out. What exactly could be the the problem and how can we tackle it? Number one is procrastination. Hey, have you found yourself in that place where you're always procrastinating and you're telling yourself, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it later? Don't do it. All right, don't fall into the box, into the pit of procrastination, because it's like a pit. Because one of the things it does is that the moment you get into it, it feels like you're getting further and further inside, you're getting deeper and deeper, and before you know it, you're stuck in there and you're like, oh my goodness, time passed. Yeah, time's passed. You remember how you wanted to go back and do you wanted to go back for your HND. Remember how you really wanted to go back for your BSc. Remember how you wanted to go for your PhD, and you're still here, you haven't done it. Guess what? You're still that same person, but guess what? In age, you have increased. You have increased in age, and perhaps right now, those things have become more expensive. If you are taking it up a few years ago, it may have been cheaper, but right now, they become more expensive. Now, before they become more expensive, can you take up the challenge right now and start doing those things? So procrastination, you need to learn to not put off tasks. And it starts with little things, I realize. So it's not just about the big things of me wanting to go to school or me wanting to, like do that assignment, or me wanting to, no, it's not just about the big things. Interestingly, it starts with the smaller things, all right? Like you're cleaning up the dishes, all right? Putting it off for a later time. You shouldn't do it. When you're done eating, you should try to clean up the dishes, right? You need to cook for your children and you're trying to put off that task like, oh, I'll do it later. No, why don't you do it right there and then? And while you're cooking their food, you can actually multitask. There are a whole lot of other, like I tell you, I love this kitchen because so many beautiful things come from here. It's not just the food that I cook that leaves my kitchen. I birth ideas from this kitchen because it gives me the opportunity to listen to messages. I'm listening to podcasts and things that are motivating me and giving me inspiration. All right, and I'm writing. I have a notepad on this island right now, okay, with a pen. So, and I get an idea and immediately I'm writing it down. Okay, so you can multitask. You can read a book while you're cooking. You can do so many other things because guess what you have been doing? I suspect that you have been cooking and watching Netflix. I suspect that in itself is not bad because if you want to wind down, you can actually do that. But I'm saying that if you're somebody who right now needs to get something done, I'm encouraging you that you could use those loose times to achieve the things that you've been trying to achieve. Because at the end of the day, you keep telling yourself, I don't have the time, I don't have the time. But you actually have the time if you incorporate all these things into your everyday life. So the dreams, the setting of goals, the achieving of those goals, you can actually incorporate them into your everyday life and get those things done. All right? So no procrastination. I wish you could say that after me. No procrastination. Number two, fear. A lot of people are afraid, of certain things. What is it? Fear of failure. Like, what if I make mistakes? All right. So people don't want to take on new challenges or do get on that goal or get on that thing because they're afraid that they'll make mistakes. So you've not been able to write that book because you think that you make mistakes. You think that, oh, maybe you started even asking yourself who's going to buy your books. You haven't even written a page and you're already wondering who will buy your book. Why don't you write it and let's decide who will buy the book? All right. So why don't you put the ideas down? Let's see it. Let's see it. You'll be amazed at what will come out from you. All right. So the fear of failure. So some people think they are not good enough. Yes, and I've come to tell you tonight that you are good enough. When last did you look into the mirror? I don't know what you saw looking into that mirror, but you're this beautiful, intelligent lady, this beautiful, intelligent woman, all right, fearfully and wonderfully made. And I can tell you that if God created you that beautifully, it means that beautiful things are about to come forth from you. Try it. Don't be afraid, all right? Can you say to yourself, I'm good enough? Yes, I am good enough. So I've come to tell somebody, don't be afraid to fail. And then if you get doing it, if you start doing it and you see a whole lot of mistakes, guess what? You will learn a whole lot of other ways of not repeating the same mistake, because you have made those mistakes before. Didn't they tell us of the bulbs, the light bulbs, how what's the name of that guy? Okay, the physicist who created the light bulb, how he, created the light bulb about 99 times. Some people have said 999 times, but how that, he now got it once. Guess what? When he got it that once, he got it at the 100th time, because he had learned 999 or 99 ways of not doing it. Okay, so he had learned how to do it rather than how to not do it. So if you have written that book so many times, and each time you're typing, you're not happy about what you're seeing, guess what? The next time you're typing your thoughts, you'll find out that you're able to do more. You're able to, bring out more ideas, pour out more thoughts, okay? And then you're able to actually write the book at the end of the day. So deal with the fear right now, because God has not given to you the spirit of fear, but of love, of power, and of his sound mind. Now, the number 3 one is approval addiction. There's some people, you just like everybody to approve everything you're doing all of the time. If somebody has not said, oh, you've done well, you're not happy. Okay? But I feel like this is one world where you have to be really happy, where you have to be really careful about being an approval addict. Do you know why? I realize that one of the ways people actually acknowledge that you're doing well is not saying it. All right? Sometimes people don't tell you how well you're doing, but guess what? They admire you. They admire what you're doing, but they're just not saying it. Well, I don't know why, and it doesn't matter. But guess what? Whether or not they acknowledge, what you're doing and how well you're doing it, it doesn't matter. You go for it. You do what you need to do. So don't seek people's approval. All right? I'm born again, so I would like to talk about Jesus. Jesus didn't wait to be told who he was. He already knows that he's I am. He already knows who he was. So when these guys, when the disciples were telling him who he was, when he asked them, who do men say that I am? He wasn't trying to get them to validate him. He already knew who he was. All right? He just wanted to find out, what was going on in their hearts and how they perceived him. And sometimes it's okay to do that. You could actually ask one or two people around you who are pretty close to you. So what do you even think? What do you think I do well? It's a good thing to do. To ask your friends, to ask your staff, to ask people who are pretty close to you, what do you think I do well? All right? But we shouldn't live our lives wanting people to approve everything that we do all of the time. There are times that you will do stuff and nobody will approve it. Nobody will, acknowledge that you've done anything well. But you go ahead and do it when you're convinced that that's what God placed in your heart to do. So let's keep doing that thing. Number 4 thing tonight that we need to deal with, that's an enemy of execution or an enemy of you not being able to carry out those dreams, is laziness. Yeah, people can get lazy. All right? People can get lazy. They need to do that thing. And okay, well, it's a bit like procrastination, but maybe I'll say that laziness would be knowing that you need to do something and refusing to do it. For procrastination, you still tell yourself, oh, okay, I'll get on it. But being lazy, you're not even interested. I mean, you rather sleep, you rather go out, you rather play, you rather watch a movie, you rather do other things. All right? But what is hard work? What is diligence? Which is like the opposite of laziness. It's making sacrifices. All right? So when you ought to be sleeping, I'm not saying you shouldn't sleep. We actually should sleep, all right? It's a good thing to have our rest when we should, but you can't spend the whole day sleeping, would you? No, you won't. So there's the time to sleep, right? The night time is for sleep. If you want to take a nap in the course of the day, it's okay to do that. But basically, I'm saying that there's time for work, there's time for play, and there's time to sleep and to rest, right? So when it's time to work and you're choosing to see a movie or you're choosing to play or gist with your friend, then that's being lazy, all right? I hope I got that right with you. Yeah, and I hope I didn't just catch somebody right now. So let me encourage you. Don't be lazy, all right? Do what you need to do. Let's get on it right now. What have you been trying to do? What are those things that you've written down that you wanted to achieve for yourself? This is that time you need to get on it. Number 5, very quickly, on clear goals, okay, and in proper planning. Maybe this would have been my number 1, but well, not in any particular order. But basically, the reason why people are not, able to do the things they need to do right now, because right now I'm saying, do it now. Now, I'm saying now often. Yeah, so I said, do it now. Some of you are not able to do those things right now because you don't even have a plan. So what are you going to do? Start with the plan. Some of you don't even have a goal. Some of you don't even know what you want to do. Start from there. Everyone has to start from somewhere. When we're about to go on a race, what do? The first thing we do is on your marks. Okay, all the athletes, what do? They get on their marks, get set, and then they go. But we all start from somewhere. Everyone has to start from somewhere. And that's what I'm asking of you tonight. Start from somewhere. I don't know what yours is. For some people, it might be getting a notepad. For some people, it might be sitting down to write, sitting down to type on your system or on your phone. For some people, it might be getting that information. For some people, it might be speaking to someone to be your accountability partner. I remember the first time that I was going to write my book, I actually had to speak to someone I won't ever forget, Pastor Kwame Odewale. And I said to her, I'm trying to write a book. I said, Pastor Kwe, please, I need you to hold me accountable. I need you to ask me every now and then how well I'm doing and she did. All right, she did. By the grace of God, I was able to finish that book, finish writing the book, publish the book, and today it's a miracle. It's impacting a lot of lives everywhere in the world. All right, so declare goals and start now. Number 6 is pessimist. All right. Now, I'm not talking about you being a pessimist. I'm talking about we sometimes having people around us who are pessimistic. They're pessimistic, I beg your pardon. All right. So they're pessimistic, they are pessimists because they never see anything good about anyone. So such people may come your way telling you, what are you trying to do? You can't even do it. Sometimes they mock you. Sometimes they, like laugh and all of that. Look, ignore them. All right. Such people are waiting to tell you how you can't do it, how you can achieve that, how it's not meant for you, how there are people who are better than you, all of those things. Can you block your ears to them? Can you try to silence their voices in your ears and give attention to people who encourage you? If you don't, peradventure have encouragers around you. Just always come into my page and get encouraged by me. Get encouraged by this program, tonight. Get encouraged. And guess what? If you're not going to do that, encourage yourself. In the scriptures, the Bible talks about a man called David. The Bible says that David encouraged himself in the Lord. At that point in time in his life, there was nobody to encourage him. His parents were not there. His siblings were not there. Nobody cared about him. Guess what? He had to, in that state where he was in a depressed state, and he had to take care of other people. So while he was there taking care of other people, the Bible says he was surrounded by men, who needed help themselves, and he also needed help. All right, he needed comfort, he needed encouragement. But guess what? He encouraged himself. He got out of, he came out of that space where he that space of depression, and he started doing what he needed to do. He had to start building those lives. And chapters down the line, the Bible spoke concerning those same guys. They had become a mighty army. All right. So I'm encouraging you today, block your ears to the pessimists. All right. You can do it. Are you trying to start a school? You can do it. Are you trying, to build a business? You can do it. Are you trying to travel, so for one thing or the other? You can do it. There's nothing you're trusting God for. There's nothing God has put in your heart that you cannot achieve. All right. So block your ears to such people. Number 7, I'm almost done right now, is comparison. I want to encourage you, please avoid it. Avoid it like a plague. Avoid it like a plague. You know what that means? A plague, like somebody has like somebody has leprosy. Okay, avoid it. Avoid comparison. It's a reason, it's a good reason why a number of women have not been able to carry out their dreams, have not been able to execute, those ideas that they've had in their hearts for so long, because you just keep comparing yourself with other people. You're looking at your classmates. And by the way, who is your mate? I always ask, who exactly is your mate? Can you define who your mate is? Where are they? Because there's no mates anywhere. I always say to people, there's no mates. When you were in school, oh yeah, maybe, but there are no mates anywhere. Because if you look back right now, those that you were in nursery together, you were in primary, in secondary, in the uni, where are they? Everyone's gone their different ways and doing their different things. And guess what? We all have different races. So why should you compare yourself with someone else who is, doing something else, pursuing their own goals, pursuing their own dreams? Can't you? Let me encourage you, please focus on your own dreams, focus on your own life, focus on what you are trying to achieve. Don't compare yourself, right? So if you're looking at yourself, for instance, right now, you're thinking, am I not too old to go back to school? You've wanted to go back to school. Yeah, I know. It feels like it's a regrettable thing that you've not been able to go back to school, but you can pick yourself up. You can go back right now. You can decide that you're going back right now. All right. So like you abandoned that project, like you're supposed to go back, and finish up that project and finish up that degree, finish up that program, right? Whatever it is that you were not able to do. Maybe you just gave birth to a baby, you had to be a stay-home mom, be with your children. That story sounds familiar, okay? Because that was me some years ago, having to be with my kids. My husband and I decided that I should, at that season of my life, be with our kids, all right, while I did other things. Of course, it was a beautiful time for me to write my book, okay? So I'm home and I'm writing my book. It's time to pick up my kids. I'm the one who picks them up from school. My kids are speaking to me. They're telling me, their experiences during the day. We're bonding, okay? I'm getting to know how they're growing, what's happening with them at school. I'm able to be involved in their lives. And all of that period, it was not wasted, because I was also there with my own ideas. God was birthing through me some great things that I'm now pursuing now, But way back at the time, I was there multitasking, being a stay-home mom and, focusing on those other things that I wanted to do with my life. I was just waiting for the right time. Boom. And then I was able to run. I was able to fly. All right. So let me encourage you to do the same. Don't compare yourself with someone. Don't do that. Don't compare yourself with someone. Like I keep saying, our journeys are different. We're not running the same race. What if somebody is running 100 meters dash? What if for somebody else is a 4x4? What if different races, okay? So focus on your own journey and do what is needful, at that season of your life. And finally, this one, I must talk about it. It is called perfectionism. All right, what is perfectionism? It is the tendency to set extremely high standards for ourselves. All right, you always want that, lofty, and high goals and all of that. Usually rigid, they are rigid. People like that are usually rigid, and you just want your goals to be flawless. I'm sorry, but if that's what you want to do, you may still be in that same space for the next 20 years, God forbid. But if you really must get going and do those things that God has put in your heart, then you better start doing it now. All right? And do it regardless of your perfectionism or your desire for things to be perfect. You may need to put those things aside right now and do it just the way it is. Just do it just the way it is. I'm saying it because that's who I used to be. That's who I used to be. And guess what? If I was still that person, I'm glad that God delivered me. if I was still that person who was a perfectionist, I would not be here tonight, because I would have made 100 excuses and given myself 100 reasons why I should not be doing this tonight. I would have told myself how maybe I'm not such an orator. I would have told myself how, well, maybe I'm not ready. What do I know? How much do I know? What do I want to teach someone? Hey, are you that kind of person? No, I bet from tonight you're released from that tendency in Jesus' name. All right, so start doing it now. You wanted to learn baking, you have wanted it desperately for so long. Hey, get doing it, get on it. Make that call right now to that person that you wanted, that you knew was going to teach you. You wanted to speak to that person, but for some reason you couldn't bring yourself to doing it. Make that call tonight. Send that text message tonight and say, you know what, I just need to tell you tonight that I need your help. I need your help. I need you to teach me. I need you to train me how to bake. But I know that I may run away. So, I need you to hold me accountable so that tomorrow you can call me and ask if I'm still doing it or not. Okay? So I don't know what that thing is that you've been trying to do. I need you to know that you can start from where you are and then improve and develop as you go. Start from where you are and improve and develop as you go. Let me end by sharing this story with you. In 2016, all right, so like I told you from the beginning, I love pregnant women. I have a ministry to pregnant women. So I've done that for many years. So it's going to be 15 years this year by the grace of God that I've worked with pregnant women, preaching to them, teaching them, praying with them. However, in 2016, I felt there was need for me to do something different. So I went and I took a course online on global maternal health. I'd never really been, interested in anything health as it were, but because I was involved with pregnant women, somehow I started getting interested, okay, in not just the scriptures or the messages and the prayers that I did with them week in, week out, but I started getting interested actually in the physiology, and everything, that was health related. I just wanted to understand what pregnancy feels like, apart from the fact that I had been pregnant before. I wanted to understand how, it felt like for different women, the experiences, how they could get help and all of that. That was not to say that I really wanted to study medicine or go for nursing anyway, but I was just interested. So I decided to start from that course that I took on Coursera those years back. And of course, what that led me to was, by the time I was done with the course, we were supposed to submit a proposal or like a project, and it was either written or spoken. So they wanted us to look into how we could be a blessing, how we could make an impact in our community where maternal health was concerned. So for me, I decided to do a story around women who had issues, complications in their pregnancies, things around maternal mortalities and all of that. So I did that, and of course, my results was fantastic, right? But that was not just, it was not just about getting the course done. I realized that it birthed something new in me. And what was it? I said, I just told these guys right now what I would do in my community. So I decided, let me just go and do what I promised that I was going to do. So that was how my NGO was birthed at the time, Positive Care Support Foundation, 2016. Guess what? I didn't have a degree in social work. I didn't have a degree in public health. I didn't have any degree apart from that course in Coursera that I took in global maternal health. So, but I went ahead, I took the chance, and I started the NGO. Thank God for my team, an amazing team of doctors, of public health workers, of sociologists, different people from different walks of life, and we all came together, made a fantastic team, and started the work from where we were. We started from what we had. I wasn't waiting to be given, like a million naira fund, from somewhere. I didn't wait for all of those things. I didn't wait to have an office. I didn't wait to be known by anybody. I just wanted to do the work. It was just a cause. It was just, David said, is there not a cause? Is there not a cause? When his siblings, were accusing him of coming out into the open and, making fun of him and asking him why he wanted to come and, see Goliath and all of that. And David was like, no, it's not about you guys. It's bigger than that. There's a cause here. There's a vision here. There's a dream here. There's an assignment here. There's a purpose here. There's something that I have to achieve. There's something that I need to get done here. And that is most important to me. Guys, you need to understand that. And that was it for me at the time. For me, I wasn't looking for popularity. I wasn't looking for fame, whatever. I just wanted to get the work done. What was the work? Maternal health. I wanted to reduce maternal mortalities. I wanted to reduce infant mortalities, in Africa, in Nigeria. Well, starting from my Jerusalem, that was it. And that's what we started doing, supplying and, giving maternal supplies to pregnant women who could not afford it. So we went into the communities and we looked for the indigent women we could help, went into some of the hospitals, helped women, paid, started paying, even for some people's, paying off their hospital bills, helping women get their treatments, different things, went out for outreaches and did that for, a number of years before that was, so imagine that was in 2016, right? So we did all of that for those number of years until 2 years ago, when it just occurred to me, Tolu, I think it's high time you went to study, a related course. I mean, I felt like I needed to develop myself. I felt like I needed to move a step forward. And that was when I went into, to take my course in public health. So I went in for my master's in public health, even though I came from an art background. Okay, I had an art background. I studied archaeology. I have a Bachelor of Arts in archaeology, and I graduated when 2004. All right. So imagine between 2004 and 2000 and where are we? 2025, 2023. That's almost 20 years, or how many years in between. I hadn't gone back to school. I hadn't, and so imagine coming from my art background and having a desire to improve myself, to grow myself, to develop myself. And then I had the chance by the grace of God. And I did that. And by the grace of God, I have my master's in public health now. But guess what? I didn't have to wait for the degree before I started doing the work. I'm saying to somebody right now, you don't have to wait for everything to be perfect. Start from where you are. I also remember another story, because I'm rounding off right now. When I was going to start my business, I just got married, and I wanted to do a business. I wanted to do catering. Okay, I wanted to do catering. Well, not like I loved cooking or anything, but it actually started with me wanting to be an event planner. So I started with event planning. Actually, I planned my wedding. My best friend and I had planned her wedding. So I thought I did a fantastic job. So I thought, okay, let me do some event planning. And then while I was trying to get a job, I was also, trying to plan events for people. So through my husband, I got some clients, from his office and all of that. And I did. After a while, I met an amazing woman, by the name Pastor Bosade Ogunlano. God bless her. God bless her. She's one of my mentors. I love her, love her so much. So what did she do? So she spoke with me. I told her, she asked me what I was doing at the time. I told her I was an event planner. And then she said to me, encouraged me to take it a step further and start, my catering business. So she explained to me, it's not a big deal. You can do it. Anybody can do it. And then she taught me one or two things. And then guess what? I started. How did I start? I didn't go to buy any of my pots. I didn't go to buy anything. I just went straight to my mom's house because my mom had all of those things, all right? You know, all those party pots, right? She had them. She had the plate. She had everything. And then she had a big space, at the back of the house where the cooking could take place. So that's how I started my catering business. And I did very well until I had to drop it because by my second pregnancy, my doctor had told me then that I needed to, like soft pedal because I was beginning to develop a high blood pressure in pregnancy and he thought it was connected to work. All right, so that was how I dropped it. And sincerely, after then, I never went back to catering. That was the end of Happy Pan at the time. It was called Happy Pan Event Planning and Catering. I'm just saying to you, I didn't wait for everything to be perfect to get things done. I made use of whatever it was that I have. So let me ask you a question. What do you have in your hands? What do you have in your hands? God asked Moses what he had in his hands. Moses said he had a rod. Okay? So my question to you is, what do you have in your hands? All right? There's some of you, you know how to cook. Can you start doing something? There's some of you, you know how to write. Can you start doing something with it? All right? You'll be amazed how much will come into your pocket if you write a book and put it, on Amazon, put it on what's all those where do I put my books? I just forgot right now. All right, well, you'll be amazed how much you can make from writing a book and from doing all of those things. I hope you have been blessed, with this expose on ways to get your execution going and to start doing those things. All right, do all of the things that I described right now: perfectionism, procrastination, fear, approval addiction, laziness, unclear goals, pessimists, and then comparison. They are all enemies of execution. They are all enemies, trying to quieten you, trying to tell you you can't do it, you can't achieve it. But today, in Jesus' name, you overcome them, all right? And I can see that you're going to start doing everything that you desired and you have wanted to do for so long, and all these things have kept you back. And I'm going to be celebrating with you. Do let me know when that book is out. Let me know when you started that business. Let me know when you started the NGO. Let me know when you start that, whatever it is that you're trying to start right now. I celebrate you. Happy International Women's Day. Do have a beautiful, beautiful Sunday. Bye.